Two Chinese cities seize COVID curbs. Overseas Chinese set up protests. All regions in the world experienced water extremes last year. China and Russia warplanes enter South Korea air defense zone. UNESCO examining proposals for intangible heritage. Calligraphy experiences a renaissance in Morocco. Namibia may have its first female president. Valencia is the best European city for expats.
Hello, I'm Jolie. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. It is Thursday, December 1st, and here are your top stories. Reuters reported the giant Chinese cities of Guangzhou and Chongqing announced an easing of COVID curbs on Wednesday, a day after demonstrators in southern Guangzhou clashed with police amid a string of protests against the world's toughest coronavirus restrictions. The demonstrations, which spread over the weekend to Shanghai, Beijing, and elsewhere, have become a show of public defiance unprecedented since President Xi Jinping came to power in 2012.
The media reported that Chongqing will allow close contact of people with COVID-19 who fulfill certain conditions, while Guangzhou also announced an easing of curbs. However, with record numbers of cases nationwide, there seems little prospect of a major U-turn in China's zero-COVID policy. China Dissent Monitor, run by the US-funded Freedom House, estimated at least 27 demonstrations took place across China from Saturday to Monday. Australia's ASPI think tank estimated 43 protests in 22 cities.
Reuters reported that from Sydney to Toronto, ethnically Chinese individuals have stepped up protests this week with demands to end the world's most stringent COVID-19 restrictions, evolving into calls to free China, and for President Xi Jinping to step down. Overseas Chinese and their supporters rallied in Sydney, Tokyo, Hong Kong, New York, and Toronto, with more protests planned in coming days. At Harvard University in Massachusetts, dozens chanted, "No more lies and no more censorship."
The people who were killed in the fire in Urumqi in Xinjiang, where because of the zero-COVID lockdown and because of the bureaucratic control of the government,
Outside the Chinese consulate in New York, hundreds gathered, some waving blank white placards, which have become a protest symbol in China. Many criticized China's human rights record and the impact of its zero-COVID policy, which has taken a heavy toll on the economy and people's freedoms. The anger at home and abroad swelled after 10 people were killed in a fire in Xinjiang that many people online blamed on stringent COVID rules, which may have trapped residents inside a building.
The United Nations World Meteorological Organization, or WMO for short, said in its first annual State of Global Water Resources report that all regions saw devastating water extremes in 2021. There were record-breaking floods in Western Europe and the Amazon, while water levels in rivers in Paraguay and southern Brazil dropped to an all-time low. Major river basins in the Americas and Central Africa saw water volumes shrink. Rivers in northern India and southern Africa saw above-average increases.
Billions of people had insufficient fresh water as the globe experienced water extremes last year.
Apart from the water extremes, the WMO also found some 3.6 billion people face inadequate access to fresh water for at least 1 month last year. Around 1.9 billion people live in areas where drinking water is supplied by snowmelt and glaciers that are disappearing at an alarming rate. The organization urged authorities to speed up the introduction of drought and flood warning systems to help reduce the impact of water extremes.
South Korea's military said it scrambled fighter jets as 2 Chinese and 6 Russian warplanes entered its air defense zone on Wednesday. Seoul's Joint Chiefs of Staff (JCS) said the 2 Chinese H-6 bombers repeatedly entered and left the Korea Air Defense Identification Zone off South Korea's southern and northeast coast starting around 5:50 a.m. They re-entered the zone with the Russian warplanes hours later from the Sea of Japan, known in South Korea as the EC.
Just a few hours ago, that 2 Chinese and 6 Russian warplanes entered South Korea's air defense zone, or KADIZ.
The JCS said that 6 Russian warplanes, including Tu-95 bombers and Su-35 fighter jets, left with Chinese warplanes after 18 minutes in the Korea Air Defense Identification Zone. The JCS said that the warplanes did not violate South Korea's airspace. Tokyo's defense ministry later said that Japan's Air Self-Defense Force also scrambled fighter jets after the Chinese bombers flew from East China Sea into the Sea of Japan, where they were joined by 2 Russian drones.
I always needed time on my own. I never thought I'd be here.
I take your blessings with your heartaches too. It's so easy and so wonderful to know it's you.
学习，一切从今天开始。FUNDAY 英语。
The United Nations Cultural Agency, the UNESCO, is examining 56 proposals for items to add to its list of intangible cultural heritage, which started deliberations Monday in Morocco. The French baguette, Algerian rye music, and Tunisia's harissa condiment are among this year's contenders for recognition as intangible cultural heritage. According to UNESCO, the pottery of the Cham people of central Vietnam is one of 4 items in urgent need of preservation. UNESCO will tweet its decisions on the matter starting from Tuesday afternoon.
Other contenders include a French-Belgian application for fairgrounds, the chai or tea, culture of Azerbaijan and Turkey, traditional Chinese tea processing techniques, and a Central Asian lute called the rabub. Cuban light rum and the Serbian plum brandy known as slivovitz have also made the list. UNESCO stresses that the new list honors traditions, practices, and knowledge, and all such forms of culture that are human treasures that cannot be touched.
After UNESCO added Arabic calligraphy to its list of intangible cultural heritage last year, the importance of the art was officially recognized internationally. In Morocco, there have been attempts to revive this art form through the establishment of 2 educational institutions in Casablanca and Fez. In Fez, the Sarij school has experienced interest from some young people who still consider calligraphy more than just writing letters.
Fatima Zahra Sena is one student of the Sarij school. Most calligraphy students gain their skills through practices passed down by generations. Sena got inspiration from her father, a calligrapher who teaches at the same school. Sena said, "Since my childhood, I always saw my father writing and making paintings. This is what attracted me towards calligraphy. I liked learning calligraphy as well. That is why I always sat near him and learned gradually. I started with drawing and then after that, calligraphy."
On November 28th, Namibia's ruling party elected Nandi Dedwa as its vice president, making her the front-runner to lead the party into the country's upcoming national elections in 2024, and an inch closer to becoming the Southwestern Africa country's first female president. The 70-year-old edged-out Prime Minister Seda Kongongewa Amadilla and Environment Minister Pohamba Shifeta in the race for the number 2 position of the Southwest African People Organization, or SWAPO for short.
In a speech given on Monday, President Haga Geingob said, "We will make history by electing the first female president come 2024. I would like to tell her, your task going ahead is heavy." SWAPO has led Namibia since independence in 1990 and remains the country's biggest political party. But its popularity has recently waned because of discontent over rampant unemployment and a graft scandal that led to the arrest of former cabinet minister and businessmen linked to the party.
According to the annual Expat Insider survey by Internations, Valencia, Spain comes in as the best city in the world for expats in 2022. Expats described public transportation as affordable, and 92% said they enjoy the opportunities for playing sport. 9 out of 10 expats say they feel safe in the city, and 3/4 of them said they feel at home and happy with their social life. Valencia ranked 3rd in the Ease of Settling In Index. The city also comes in 3rd in the personal finance category.
Community of Valencia, and the 3rd most populated municipality in Spain, with 800,000 inhabitants. It is also the capital of the province of the same name.
The survey found 83% of expats rate the cost of living positively in Valencia, compared to 45% globally. However, those surveys said they were unhappy with the job market and work opportunities. The city came in last place for career prospects. Elsewhere, Lisbon, Portugal, came in fourth in overall rankings, but was one of the highest rated for the weather. Madrid has good leisure activities and welcoming culture, while Basel, Switzerland, was voted the second best city globally for personal finances.
FUNDAY News will help you sharpen your English skills and keep you informed about international current events. If you want to know more about our other programs and keep learning about the world's most important topics in English, please click the link in the description below to join FUNDAY for free. I'm Jolie, your host. I'll see you next time.